we're inside the clouds that form stars. And the amazing thing is that the evidence is suggesting that every single sun-like star forms as part of a binary pair.
The scientists study the Perseus molecular cloud, a stellar nursery around 750 light-years from us, packed with stars just like our sun. Many of them are in wide binary systems, traveling in huge orbits around each other that span centuries or more. And all of these binaries are babies, less than 500,000 years old. The only way to explain these young systems is that they form this way, not alone, but in a pair.
Just based on statistics and our understanding of what's going on inside these star-forming clouds, it is highly likely that the sun formed with a twin.
Perhaps 4.5 billion years ago, our sun burst into life with a sibling. Could this twin still be out there in a distant orbit that we haven't seen?
There was an idea that the sun could have a companion, which was nicknamed Nemesis, and this thing would have orbited way far out, way past Neptune in the solar system.
Scientists searched for this Nemesis star, but they came back empty-handed.
We've looked. We've had telescopic surveys of the sky, including infrared surveys where these types of objects would be very bright. And we've swept the entire sky multiple times, and we've seen nothing.
What happened to our sun sibling is a mystery.
How do we end up with one star as opposed to binary? We really don't quite understand.
If it doesn't orbit us now, it may have left our system long ago.
Over time, some of these binary stars get closer together and stay together, and others get ripped apart and lose each other entirely.
It's very possible that our sun, at some point, had a twin that got ejected.
We don't know exactly when our sister star was torn away. It could be clear on the other side of the galaxy from us by now.
But after everything we've seen in binary systems, we may be much better off without it.
I'm pretty happy with having just one sun, so I'm fine to live in this solar system. A binary sunset would be more beautiful, but only more beautiful if you're alive.
And yet, binary stars don't just bring death and destruction. They could also create systems with a series of habitable worlds.
There's so much we don't know about our own environment and how it compares to other places in the universe. It seems like we're in a very lucky place. The sun is very stable, it's a single star, we're in a nice orbit around it, but maybe there are places out there that are even better. We just didn't even know to ask.
It's certainly possible that
is the report from astronomers that a massive rogue planet that is 12 times bigger than Jupiter has been spotted by means of a radio telescope, according to the National Radio Astronomy Observatory. The monstrous object is drifting without any definitive type of orbit around a parent star. The magnetic field of the wandering planet is said to be 200 times stronger than Jupiter's magnetic influence. The object is somewhere between a planet and a brown dwarf, which is a type of failed star. Brown dwarfs are perplexing bodies because they cannot be accurately described in terms of their actual identity, being that between a planet and an actual star. These objects, much like our planet, are capable of producing strong auroras, similar in scope to what has been seen on Jupiter and Saturn. What scientists are indicating is that the rogue planet is estimated to be 200 million years of age and roughly 20 light years from our planet. It is also described as a celestial body that produces scorching surface temperatures of more than 1,500 degrees Fahrenheit. In comparison, our sun's surface temperature is in the neighborhood of 10,000 degrees Fahrenheit, which then places this object in the category of a failed star or a brown dwarf. That is in the odd orbit, or is in an odd orbit around a parent star. Because the size and description of the object is not definitive according to scientific theory, it is feasible that the object is more in line with the description of a larger planet. The threats from space are real and they're unpredictable. Incoming objects and cosmic radiation pose serious long-term problems for humanity, but the extreme Earth changes are an immediate concern for our planet. In the last 2 weeks, worldwide seismic activity has made big headlines among the people and the nations that comprise the Pacific Ring of Fire. On August 21st, 2 more strong earthquakes struck along the ring, including a 7.3 in Venezuela and a 6.6 in the archipelago of Vanuatu. The Venezuelan quake hit at a depth of 76 miles, which provides some indications that the tectonic plates are moving and that the continent is beginning to shift. In this event, it looks like the South American plate has slid to the west under the Caribbean plate as the plates move in opposite directions. The powerful earthquake was felt across the northern coast of South America and along the Caribbean arc all the way up to Fort-de-France. A few hours after this event, another strong earthquake struck Vanuatu at a depth of 6 miles at the convergence of the Australian and the Pacific plates. At the time of this recording, August 22nd, a very strong earthquake struck off the coast of Oregon, raising concerns among people living in densely populated areas along the Pacific coast. What is so alarming about this event is that the epicenter lies directly on the Cascadia fault line, which is associated with the much larger Ring of Fire, where more than 60 substantial earthquakes have struck in just the last few days. Enhanced activity along the Ring of Fire is a sure sign that a catastrophic event or a series of events will happen because the Ring of Fire encompasses the entire Pacific Basin, and it is from this region that 90% of the world's earthquakes take place. Just recently, a major 8.2 earthquake hit along the Fiji Islands in the South Pacific, as well as a deadly and destructive 6.9 event that took place on Lombok Island in Indonesia. These events have seismologists worried, as the unsettling Ring of Fire could eventually lead to a catastrophic event along the U.S. West Coast, including California and the Cascadia Zone. The Southern California Earthquake Center indicated to the Los Angeles Times in 2017 that anytime there is a seismic event located on a fault line or a fault zone, such as the Oregon event that took place this morning, then the probability of a major event will rise. People living along the California coast are not aware of how dire the earthquake situation actually is. That is because the greater majority of residents have never experienced a major seismic event. But as this animation shows, intense shaking resulting from a megaquake along the San Andreas Fault would catapult directly into the Los Angeles Basin in a disaster scenario never seen by humans in California's recorded history.